Brandon Lewis here. We've got a lot happening in the volunteer state. Omnibus illegal immigration bill passes Tennessee legislature, but old Todd Gardenhire and the Democrats are not happy. Republicans in state Senate vote to pass Tennessee governor's universal school choice bill. Education Freedom Scholarship Act passes the House floor, and the special session concludes. For my conservative friends in Hamilton County, you've received emails, text messages, and maybe even a phone call from me. I hope to see you at the HCGOP convention. Go to activatehamilton.com. That's activatehamilton.com. More on that later. Venezuelan gang with Tennessee presence designated foreign terrorist organization by President Trump. Conservative lawmakers bring back a bill that would prohibit gay pride flags in Tennessee classrooms. Hopefully this time Senate Republicans will not vote that be allowed. Again, proposed Tennessee bill would help protect county citizens from the impacts of city development. And finally, a new bill would create holidays honoring life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness throughout Tennessee. It's Brandon Lewis here, the conservative anchorman for Tennessee, doing the job no one else wants to do. And guys, if you want to get the newsletter, so often I get text messages, I get emails, can you tell me about this? Can you tell me about that? Because folks just follow us on social media, but they don't really get the newsletter. So go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com, hit that subscribe button, or you can text the word news to 423-205-5600 and get opted in that way. And of course, do please follow us on Twitter, Gab, Getter, Truth, MeWe, and Rumble, and share our content so that we can get past the gatekeepers of the corporate, bureaucratic, technical overlords that censor our conservative speech. First story, omnibus illegal immigration bill passes Tennessee legislature despite pushback from Democrats and Republican Todd Gardenhire, who never met an illegal alien he did not love. If it were left up to him, he'd spend all day driving illegal aliens from the border into Tennessee in a 15-passenger van, but sadly, he won re-election. The omnibus bill, intended to address illegal immigration, passed the Senate on Wednesday along party lines 26-7, with only one Republican voting against it, Senator Todd Gardenhire. Earlier in the week, Gardenhire attempted to push an amendment to strip the provision that would give legal consequences for elected officials who oppose the enforcement of immigration policies. But Watson said he found the amendment to be offensive, and the bill has four main components: a creation of a centralized immigration enforcement division with a proposed $500,000 budget, an allocation of $5 million for immigration enforcement grants through a federal program, raises standards for state-issued IDs to essentially show you if people are illegal or not, and then finally enhances consequences for violating sanctuary city policy bans. It voted and went through on party lines 72-22 in favor. And you know, I'm glad they're creating boards and grants and everything else. But I've said this over and over again. I sound like a broken record. If you've got ants in your house, we've all had ants in our house, right? You wake up one day and all of a sudden there's a trail of ants. And you can kill the ants. You can take the ants out of the house. You can do whatever you want to try to prevent the ants from being in your house. But the fact of the matter is they're coming in because something is drawing them into the house, typically food that has been left out. That's what brings ants into the house. And so just as food left laying about will bring pests into your home, if you have free taxpayer-funded education, if you have jobs aplenty, and if you have welfare benefits and everything else, then you are going to have illegal aliens come to Tennessee. And all of this after-the-fact preventative stuff that keeps them or kicks them out after they've committed a crime or deports them is really beside the point. What we need to do is make Tennessee a place where, as illegal aliens, people who break our laws, are looking at the nation and they think, where do I want to hang my hat or my sombrero, depending on what the case may be? It's not in Tennessee. And so I'm hoping that Bolso's Trump Act and some of these other bills that are actually more preventative will come into play. It just aggravates me to no end that we can spend all kinds of political capital, time, etc., on school vouchers in this kind of broken, not very good bill, but we can't do anything critical on illegal immigration. I wish the governor would use his influence to do things that Tennesseans want him to do instead of the things that are on him and Haslam's personal agenda. 21 Republicans in the state Senate vote to pass Tennessee governor's Universal school choice bill, which is not universal, that it only applies to 2% of people. I don't know why they call it universal. Governor Lee's pet project, aka the Educational Freedom Act, went through the Senate with very few Republicans in opposition. Republican senators who joined the 6 Democrats in the Senate voting no were Janice Bowling, Richard Briggs, that's kind of a surprise, Bobby Harshbarger, Tommy Hatcher, Jesse Seal, Steve Sutherland, and Paige Wally. Democrats in particular spoke about the lack of the bill's fiscal conservatism. Bo Watson, after hours of debate and arguments, said that it was not perfect, but it provided a framework, and if we don't do it now, it'll never happen. And so I'm for kids having school choice. I've made my views on this very clear, but I don't think we need to do it if it's going to cost $22,500 to give away a $7,000 scholarship. That is fiscally irresponsible. We should not be double funding both people that get vouchers and also the public schools as if the kid were there. I mean, that's not good. We shouldn't be bribing people in the same bill that we're trying to pass something. We shouldn't tie it and sandwich it in between illegal immigration and disaster relief. I mean, the whole thing just smelled. And I'm telling you, for those of you in the General Assembly that actually watch this, please forward it to your colleagues. I hope y'all will grow a pair. I understand that Cameron Sexton, Randy McNally, and Lee pushed real hard on you, and the school voucher billionaires pushed real hard on you. You won't get committee assignments. You'll be taken off committees. Your bills won't make it through. You'll be relegated to obscurity. You'll never climb in leadership. I get it. If you go up there to climb and something like this comes down the line that your constituents don't like, often it is much easier to do what the powerful and the organized and the money-filled pockets tell you to do, but not really serve what can often be a little bit of a low information electorate back home in the hopes that in 2 years they'll forget that you voted for something they probably didn't like. So I don't know if those chickens are going to come home to roost in the primaries. It would seem to make it a lot more likely. People seem to be opposed to this in vast quantities. And it's because it was not presented as what it actually was. This has been manipulated, coerced. This is a terrible look for transparency and for the standard process that these things could have gone through. Next story. Education Freedom Scholarship Act passes the House floor after 4 grueling hours of discussion on the chamber floor. Yesterday, Governor Bill Lee's voucher passed House of Representatives by a 53-45 vote. 27 different amendments to the legislation were filed for consideration on the House floor, but only the one that was brought by Scott Sapicki in order to make the House version match the Senate version passed. One particularly questionable choice the Republicans made in striking down the Democrats' amendments was they chose to table an amendment that would have required private schools in Tennessee to run criminal background checks on staff or contracted persons who hold positions, etc. Republicans tabled the amendment 75-24. The official vote in the House was 54-44. And that just goes to show you, this is not something that's wildly popular. When things pass by this slim of a margin, after all the beating and haranguing and threats and intimidation, Republicans voting no were Rebecca Alexander, Fred Ashley, Jody Barrett, Rush Bricken, Jeff Burkhart, Tandy Darby, Monty Fritz, David Hawk, Gary Hicks, Dan Howell, Chris Hurt, Kelly Kiesling, Kevin Raper, Michelle Renault, Lowell Russell, Rick Scarborough, Paul Sherrill, Tom Stennett, Ron Travis, and Todd Warner. Representative Jerome Moon was present but didn't vote. I never have understood the present but not voting move. I don't seem like a coward's way out personally, but Next story. For my conservative friends, you live here in Hamilton County. Guys, go to activatehamilton.com. That's activatehamilton.com. I know I reached out to you. Not everybody has done this. Please get on there. I've looked at the numbers. Just hit that pre-qualify button. What's the pre-qualify button do? It basically says, hey, have you voted in 3 in the last 4 Republican primaries so that you're bona fide to vote? We want to make sure that we vet you so that when you come, that we know that you're on our team, that you are legitimate to vote, so that you don't waste your time by coming down there unless you just want to observe the process. But it's going to be a good time. It's going to be fun. We're going to get to hang out, fellowship. I don't have anything to do. I don't have a job at that convention, so I just get to chit-chat with folks. So I'm looking forward to catch up, talk policy, talk politics with you. But I can't do it if you're not there. I often give people a hard time for not putting their money and their time where their mouth is. If you live in Hamilton County, this is a perfect opportunity for you to come and participate in this process to get a slate of conservatives. The folks that are on the slate, go to activatehamilton.com, are really good. And I would recommend that you show up and join me, because we can do a lot more in Hamilton County than we presently do. We can be a lot more open. We can be a lot more transparent. We can bring more people to the table, and we can put some major numbers up on the board. We can score some wins so that our county doesn't turn blue. And finally, for those of you who aren't in Hamilton County, you should be doing the same thing for your reorganization. Put together a slate, build a list, show up in force, and make sure that you have conservatives in your county, not just a bunch of people that lick boots and clap like seals for elected politicians, irregardless of whether or not they conform to the party platform. That's not what the party was meant to be. Not all parties are like that, but many have devolved into that condition, and they need to be resurrected, rescued, refurbished, and moved into 2025 with a sense of purpose. Next story: Venezuelan gang with Tennessee presence deemed foreign terrorist organization by President Trump. The violent Venezuelan gang, Tren de Agua, has become a prevalent problem in Tennessee after resurfacing in the state, committing a slew of crimes, including prostitution, drug possession, sales, assault, human trafficking, and other violent crimes. Of course, the liberal media tries to act like this is not a problem. Even the TBI director, who said that it was, started walking things back, because the Democrats want every illegal alien here that they can possibly get, right? Them and Todd Gardenhire. And the Republicans that have done nothing for the last 4 years to prevent illegal immigration don't want you to know how bad things have gotten while they've sat on their hands despite the outcries of conservatives to do something about it. And so that's the reason stuff like this gets swept under the rug. But hopefully, with this new declaration, we'll have a little bit more leeway, and perhaps Republicans will get courage to kick out these violent folks that are lawbreakers in our state. Guys, our expenses are through the freaking roof right now. We got Adelia up there. We've got reporters reporting like crazy. We need you to send in a little bit of cash if you can. The annual campaign to send Adelia up there did not go quite as well as I'd hoped. And so we still need y'all to chip in. If you are filthy rich, if you've had a rich uncle die, if you can write a larger check, boy, that sure is helpful. And you can mail it to P.O. Box 625, Signal Mountain, Tennessee, 37377. I had a guy send me a note the other day, actually, I think it was today or yesterday, and he said, I'm increasing my donation from $5 to $25. And he said, I'm sorry, I can't do more. I'm like, that's a lot. I appreciate that. That is 5 times more than you were doing previously. We get 100, 200, 300 people giving $25 a month. I mean, that's enough to pay for some staff. That's enough to cover overhead, software expenses, and all the other things that nickel and dime us to death here at the Tennessee Conservative. I'm doing my part. I'm doing this for free. Like today, I sit down to do the news, and I'm like, good grief, I don't have time. I've got to go out of town next week. I'm in between conferences. But if I can dig in with my income, if I can dig in with my time, I just need you to come along. You don't have to do as much as me and as many on our staff, but we just need you to do your part. You can also go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com, hit that support button, and we will send you a Proud Tennessee Conservative tumbler and a koozie if you give $50 or more, or a recurring donation of $10 or more, and we'll send you a couple of bumper stickers, a directory, and my heartfelt thanks, which is frankly the most important thing. Next story: conservative lawmakers bring back bill that would prohibit gay pride flags in Tennessee classrooms. I wonder if Randy McNally will vote with the Democrats on this again, and I wonder if the cowardly senators who walked out of the room the last time when this was proposed so that we could keep gay pride flags in Tennessee classrooms. I kid you not, they did. It was terrible. I can't believe they did it. I mean, it's just embarrassing. It just goes to show you, campaign one way, vote another. Campaign one way, vote another. Manipulation, lies, and corruption abounds. I never thought I'd find that as I started doing this, and people get mad at me for reporting it, and I'm mad for discovering it. Don't do it. I won't have to report on it. Next story: A pair of conservative lawmakers are running a bill similar to one filed last year that would prohibit the display of gay pride flags. And this is Gino Bolso, a conservative, Joey Hensley, a conservative. And the legislation would also allow Tennesseans to file a civil suit against state government entity or agency if other flags are flown or displayed as a means of ensuring compliance. That's good. Parents and guardians of students enrolled in public schools or public charter schools could also sue if other flags are found on display where students might see them. Like we just had a story, I don't know if it's really a story, but we posted about it where there's a government school here in Hamilton County, Black Lives Matter, gay pride flag right there in the classroom. That's what you need to send your kids to do, to be indoctrinated by an organization that thinks that the best thing you can do for the black family in America and in Tennessee is to deconstruct the nuclear family, as if fatherlessness isn't already at the core of the problem in that community. Let's try to support the values of an organization that would make it worse. And of course, most of those people have been proven to be crooks, and it's amazing that folks still stand by the organization. Earlier last year, Bolso's bill passed the House on a roll call vote of 70 to 24, but when Hensley's companion bill reached the Senate, old Randy McNally voted with the Democrats, and then 17 votes, I think, 10 Republicans and 1 Democrat chose to walk and leave the room so that the thing didn't pass. Let's see if they do it again. I'd love to have them on record doing it again. Twice in a row, that'd make a really good postcard in a primary. These people that walked out, that's a really good postcard in the primary. And just in case, if y'all are in any of these people's districts, keep it in mind. Next story. The proposed Tennessee bill would protect county citizens from the impacts of city economic development. Representative Monty Fritz has proposed a bill which would prevent local municipalities from taking any actions that would affect tax obligations or costs for real property owners outside the municipality's corporate boundaries without the approval of the county governing agency. Hear, hear. House Bill 365 would theoretically help shield county residents from paying an undue share, though tax obligations, fees, and other costs for local municipal economic development projects that affect them, but they may not have a voice in it, which I agree. That's important. You live out in the county. I moved out in the county, the unincorporated part of the county, for a reason, because Chattanooga is going to hell in a handbasket under Tim Kelly's leadership, and they're going to keep spending money. The crime's going to keep going up. And unless we get somebody else in there who actually cares about quality of life, it's going in that direction. Okay? There's a lot of ruin in a city, but Tim Kelly is letting it take hold. And so I moved into the county. So I don't want things that Democrat mayors do in the Blue City Center to affect old BL and his family who moved into unincorporated areas, because we hope that the county commission and the county mayor have more sense than the city mayor. Final story, a new bill would create holiday honoring life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness throughout Tennessee. He keeps making the headlines. Gino Bolso, one of the most conservative delegates in the Tennessee legislature, has filed another bill that would enshrine patriotic and constitutional principles by designating several months of the year as celebrations of the ideas of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. House Bill 327 seeks to honor the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And June would be known as Celebration of Life Month. July would be Celebration of Liberty Month. August would be Celebration of Pursuit of Happiness. With the resurgence of patriotism across the state, fueled by Trump's recent election, I think we need to get back to these good old American values that have made us the greatest nation on earth. That's all of them, guys. How you been? I'm sorry I missed you last week. I will be missing you this coming week. As many of you know, every week I hold, not every week, oh God, it would kill me if I did. Every year I have an annual conference for the Painters Academy. We have about 125 businesses that come from all over the nation, a few folks from Canada. And we talk business. It's like a big family reunion. Our group continues to grow and prosper. It's been amazing being a mentor to these fine ladies and gentlemen who employ a lot of people, who provide really good services. And to watch them develop and grow as leaders in the business community and their own personal lives, their family. We got a really good, strong cohort of believers in my group. And so it was just fun. It was uplifting. It challenged me to do a little bit better. I see our members and I'm like, they inspire me to do better for them in my business and even at the Tennessee Conservative. So it was just fantastic. And I don't have it over here behind me, but they kind of sprung it on me. at the awards dinner and gave me an award and a watch, and getting all teary-eyed up there. I mean, it was just very sweet that my clients are so nice, and it meant a lot to me. But next week, I've got to go to the PCA Expo. That is the Painting Contractors Association. And I always say that painting and politics is the same because you're always trying to cover something up. So that's why I try to make sure I do both things, just to keep the practice in, right? And so I've got to go speak at that event. Our COO is also speaking at that event. And it is my wife and I's wedding anniversary. And so she's going to go up there with us. I think we're going to be in Colorado in a couple of different cities. And I'm going to play a little hooky. I'm not going to work the convention like crazy, which is what I've typically done in the past. But instead, I'm going to show up, do my part. I'm going to work the room occasionally, and I'm going to spend time with my wife because it is long overdue. It's been a long, crazy, busy winter, and I'm not out of the woods yet. Guys, I appreciate everything you do. I know that it is just hot and heavy when the session is in. Hot and heavy when the session is in. And we can't we can't cover every bill. We appreciate some of you carrying the burden for us by sending us information that we might not otherwise have. Sending that to Jason's very helpful. Our reporters, very helpful. And so we're just going to try to make it through this legislative session, in the hope that some of our key desires can make it through. We did a survey on Twitter of like, what's the most important thing? School choice, stopping illegal aliens, disaster funding. I think school choice got like 7%. Illegal immigration, 50-something%, and the remainder was for disaster relief. The priority, it should be stopping illegal immigration in Tennessee this session. And so we'll see if it is. I mean, they did this ceremonial stuff in the special session, which is better than nothing, but I have seen nothing more than a bunch of after-the-fact, ceremonial, reactive legislation since I've been following this topic for the last 4 years. I hope they will get proactive and preventative, and I hope that you'll urge them to do it. If I can get up there, depending on when Bolso's bill starts making its way through the Senate and the House, I may have to call upon you to get off your keisters collectively and go up there and pack a committee room so that we can make sure they understand that we are paying attention and that those who oppose that bill, we're going to try to ride herd on them during the primary. Because if you can't do that, if you can't pass that bill, if you can't define a Tennessee resident as not being an illegal alien, I don't know that I have any use for you, and I don't know that any conservatives or Republicans would either. What's going on this weekend? Work. That's what's going on this weekend. I'll be working all day tomorrow. I'm going to go to the gym tonight and then go over to a buddy's house briefly. My wife is taking the girls down to Bremen, Georgia to hang out with great-grandma, Bibby. And so that's going to be a good time for them to get to spend some quality time across the generations. And then Sunday, we got to get up bright and early and fly out to Colorado. I've been there once before in my life. This will be my second trip. And I'm hoping to take more of it in than I did previously. So often when I travel, it sounds like it would be fun, but I get to see the inside of a car, the inside of a hotel, and the inside of a conference room, which I could do just as easily here at home by driving 20 minutes down to Chattanooga, which is what I did all last week. So guys, I appreciate you. It's a tough job. This is a tough job. Email, call, text your elected officials that stood up for you, or if you wanted it to go the other way, you call and text them, say thank you. Okay, the list is a little bit divided on the voucher bill. I would say that most people that keep up, that actually understood what was inside the bill, were opposed to it. But people that are low information and get mailers and social media messages where it's like, your kids are going to get a free scholarship. I'm like, well, you got a 2% chance. 98% of you are going to be disappointed. Like they don't put the reality of what's going to happen out there to folks. They trump up the good stuff. They try to bury, hide, dismiss the bad stuff, and then name call people and intimidate folks into getting things through. We could have had a lot better bill than that, but it is what it is. Thank you so much for your donations, for your support. And again, I know some of you listening to this are in Hamilton County and you have not pre-qualified for the HCGOP convention. Go to activatehamilton.com, hit that pre-qualification button, because I need you there. People are always like, I'd like to get together with you. I'd like to see you. Well, I would too, but I can't go see 25 people a week, I'd never get my work done. But when I have an opportunity to go down there from, I don't know, maybe 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock, mill around, eat lunch, hang out without any responsibilities being on my plate, that's a great deal to get to hang out with y'all. And we'll be doing something in the process that's effective and important. So, guys, if you've got reorganizations coming up in your county, get organized. See what they did in Memphis. See what they did in Williamson County. Hopefully what we can do here in Hamilton County. Let's get some conservatives in the TNGOP so that we can lead. That's what we really need. Guys, love you. Mean it. Take care. I'll see you 2 weeks from now. But I may do a short video if I get somewhere that's got a real nice view and just say hello to y'all. Because I do miss when I don't get to do this, because it really helps me feel like I connect with y'all, even though I'm just sitting here talking to a phone. It just feels like I'm having a conversation with conservatives all across the state. And thank you for your support. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your kind words of encouragement. And if you'll keep fighting with us, we'll keep fighting for you. BL, see you in a couple of weeks, if not before. Take care. Love you. Have a good weekend.